Okay, so this is RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars, Season 6, Episode 5, Pink Table Talk. So right off the bat, we go in and we find out that everyone voted the same, except Jan. Now, this is where Jan thought they were going off a track record. She thought she was voting for the person that everyone else is going to vote for. And this is where you realize that, you know, Jan's under the impression that there's an easy answer. And you know what? That's how a lot of people talk about this voting. You know, they talk about it as being either you vote for the person who clearly needs to go, or you vote for the person that you make some shady choice. And the truth is, it's a lot more complicated. I totally get it. Yara was actually in the top once. Akaria had been in the bottom several times. So it does seem like letting Akaria go was the decision that most people were going to make. But I also get why Yara went. And like I've been saying, this is such a strong season. Every week I'm going, I don't really know who I want to have go. Okay, so anyway, they break into teams of 3. They're going to do Pink Table Talk, which is a play on the Red Table Talk, which I haven't really ever seen other than, oh gosh, I saw some clips, some viral clip with some girl who was trying to apologize and they weren't having it. Anyway, Akaria, Eureka, and Trinity get the discussion of sex. Jan, Ginger, and Pandora got body issues, and Kylie, Scarlett, and Raja got motherhood. I don't feel like, after seeing it, motherhood kind of went the deepest, but I didn't see it as being quite the same level as, say, body in terms of, like, vulnerability. And then sex seemed to me like the least, although that's not really how it shook out. Okay, there's a big fight over the issue of motherhood because Ginger really wants it and Scarlett really wants it. And they do a rock, paper, scissors, and they go for it. Pandora kind of talks a little bit about her own body issues in the confessionals, not as much with her team, although that could be editing. So Kylie really wants to be moderator. Scarlett has some concerns. It's the house of patterns, so everything. So we see everyone go. I thought it was really interesting. I actually slightly disagree with the top team is Akaria, Eureka, and Trinity, but the winner is Ginger. I love Ginger, but I actually felt that she stepped on Pandora a little bit. And so I was really surprised that Ginger won because I kept waiting for Pandora to, now maybe Pandora didn't say anything. Maybe that's why Ginger was jumping in, is that Pandora wasn't saying anything. I didn't see Jan as being at 110%. I personally felt that I agreed with RuPaul where Scarlett was really like yuck, 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 yuck. I got that, and she kept falling into like a bit as opposed to a real discussion. And then all she kind of just talked about that she has a lot of motherhood because she's got 2 moms and kind of cracked a bunch of jokes. She did at points talk about what it meant for her mothers to maybe have had a different life, and then when I mean different life, they were married and all that, and then become a couple and stuff. But it was I don't always agree with them in terms of, like, I don't see it, but I definitely felt Scarlett dip in and out of this, like, a sincere moment almost, and then, like, yuck it up. There's a lot of criticism about Jan being 110%, and I think the issue, I get what their issue is, but their discussion to her, I don't think is helpful because they're talking about how she's not being authentic. And and I think that is authentic Jan. Some people are very high energy, and some of that comes with age. Like, maybe I'm projecting because Jan's criticisms are very much what I got. And my terrible anxiety is one of the things that got me to mellow out because I was so worried about what people were thinking. Is that a great way to go? Am I suggesting other people get anxiety to kind of mellow them out? No. And I really did feel for Jan because I feel like the way people are stating it by saying that she's not being authentic, and so she's trying to lean more into authenticity, which is just making her speak more and louder and stuff. And I think that what she actually needs is for people who genuinely like her to maybe have, I don't even really know. I don't know Jan, so I would say you would need to, someone who needs to, but the idea that she's saying that she's that she's being selfish. And it was kind of a little funny to me because I kind of thought like Eureka of all people would look at Jan and be like, I know just what you're feeling. I've been there. I've gotten that criticism about being too much. I really feel for you. Here's things that have helped me relax or have let me slow down. And so when she was like, oh, Jan's really getting my nerves, it kind of surprised me because I was a little bit like, Eureka of all people who got that criticism 2 seasons maybe should have a little sympathy, but that's beside the point. Anyway, Ginger wins, so she's safe. The team of Trinity, Eureka, and Ikaria, I actually thought Ikaria at the beginning of theirs was that same, I thought they were going to level the same criticism of her that they leveled in the other acting challenge, which is she just seemed very nervous, but they didn't. Those are all safe. They kind of go through everyone. And then they let they let Raja and Pandora go. I love Pandora, but I really have felt some hesitancy around Pandora. And I think there's some stuff, I think she would really benefit in the context of the show if she was a little bit more open about like, all these girls know each other. They're all from these later seasons. I'm from this early season. I feel like it's been a million years since my season and I don't have as many followers. And I feel like, because that's what I feel like she's saying between the lines, is that she's a little out of step with everyone. And when she talked about her body issues, like I used to be a young, cute twink. And, you know, and she mentioned ageism and stuff. I wish she would talk about that more because I think that would really... I think they would really bond her with some of the older queens because they're not all 20, 25, but then also would bond her with the viewers. It's kind of this thing where when you're feeling a little bit like you don't have as much to offer as you used to, you kind of close up, which makes people know you even less. That's just me as a reality viewer. So I'm worried about Pandora, and I loved Pandora in her original season, and I still really enjoy her, and I would love to see more of her. I'd love to get to know her more. Anyway, they're safe. And so Kylie, Jan, and Scarlett are on the bottom. They go back. Scarlett says, I got the best critiques. I didn't get any bad critiques. And Jan's really upset because she's like, I don't really feel like that's honest to what happened, which I do agree with, because they really did ding Scarlett. They dinged Jan on being this really super high energy and not having these high and low moments, which I feel is like true, but I feel like it's also not very helpful to her because she's struggling to find out what that looks like. I've been there, trust me, and I would find that to be a very confusing message as well. But they ding Scarlett quite a bit on just kind of like faking it. Like she said stuff, but there was no authentic moments. I feel like they didn't say a lot about Kylie. Kylie kind of got in some ways the same criticism. She just didn't say a lot. She didn't share a lot. She was mostly deflecting on the other two. The only time she really sort of opened up was in turning to her teammate Raja and kind of saying like, this is something I learned. But it would have been a really useful place for her to be like, let me tell you, this is what I learned and let me tell you why. Because XYZ and this is what happened to me. And she said a tiny bit of it. She just said general childhood trauma. I feel like the point of the whole exercise was really to say some things they haven't said. Like, we've never heard Ginger. And that might be why Ginger won, was because she shared things she hadn't shared before. She, that kind of thing. So anyway, in the end, Ginger wins more than many of the early season winners won. So she won $30,000. She was against, there's a whole big joke. It was a good joke too. It was a good gag, which is they had Bianca Del Rio come out, which is notoriously, never lip sync, not a lip syncer. She's a different kind of performer. Anyway, so that was that was really funny because it was like, we all know this. There was no part, I was actually interested to see what she does. I'm like, maybe she's been preparing. And then have her walk off and have Mayhem Miller. The one thing I do, from a contest standpoint, I'm not crazy about the lip sync assassin. I'm not crazy about that part of the game. But from I think it's a great way to honor some of the queens like Mayhem Miller, who are amazing and have never performed as well on RuPaul's Drag Race as we know their star shines. And so that's such a nice way to honor those drag queens. Do I think that's the way I would want to do it for the contest? I don't think so, but you know, it is what it is, so that's all there is to it. Ginger wins and sends home Scarlett. Scarlett has done really well at this competition. But you know, like one of the things that happened in the Untucked was Eureka saying, like, I really felt, you know, it's tough for me because I felt like I did really well. Maybe I should have won. And then Ginger saying, well, I feel like I should have won the last one. But I think I understand what their feeling is, which is you watch the normal seasons, and many of these performances would have won a normal season. But it's not a normal season. It is absolutely stacked deck across the board. Everyone is doing... I feel like even the lowest performance in a normal season could win, or at least be in the top, just across the board. Everyone is so strong, is doing so well. It's really the difference, you know. I watch a lot of the recaps. I do the one with Trixie, the one with Bob and Thorgy and all that kind of stuff. I do watch some. I don't watch them until after I film my own. But, I mean, they're really talking about, like, one element stood out to them and that pulls them ahead of the group. Or one element doesn't work and so they drop down. We're not talking about, like, they bombed this, they bombed that, they bombed this, so they're in the bottom. And this person was the heads and shoulders above everyone else. So, I get what they're saying, but the other part of me goes, this is All-Stars. And I always think of that Trixie quote when she's talking to Katya about, yeah, All-Stars, everyone's famous and rich and experienced. It's like a whole different ballpark. Everyone in there is amazing. And that's what I think of when I was thinking about this episode, is like, yeah, this is exactly how this episode went. Everyone's amazing and powerful, and is you know, you're really talking about, like, oh, Ikaria seemed a little out of sorts for 5 seconds and still said all her lines and still nailed it, but just there was a little bit of fear around her eyes and a bit of hesitation. Like, that's the level of criticism that we're talking about. So that's what I mean. Or like, oh, I would have changed this one element on the thing. And so we're gonna find out next week. It'll be interesting to see if everyone voted for Scarlett, because I'm guessing not. I'm guessing this is gonna these are gonna be all. I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of Jan votes. It might have even been. My guess is that Jan, the group, might have voted for Jan. We'll see. No one. It was kind of like, it seemed like the discussion was between Jan and Scarlett, but it seemed like they almost made it seem like Ginger was going to go for Kylie because she was the least soft-spoken. But anyway, we'll see. How is this shaping up for you? Do you feel this was a huge tragedy? I guess there's a lot of Scarlett stans that are really upset and feel like the show's been ruined. I thought the criticisms of her, she was really like, to me, it felt like the conversation they were asking for was to have a real conversation, and she was doing more of like the Britney. Remember when they did that Britney challenge where you had to be, there was the Britney, and I can't remember who was the other one they picked. Whoever it was, they didn't know who they were. But where they were all supposed to talk about how great Britney was, and they were all doing an act. That's kind of what it felt like she was doing, and everybody else was doing a more intimate conversation. But anyway, I'll see you later.